did you
had,
determine that?
well, at the time, we determined it because the sand boils and the underseepers that we're seeing on that side of the levee reduced.
Yeah,
They stopped.
but you
And,
just saying, but just because you blow the levee?
yes, sir, because we took off about 404,000 cubic feet per second.
Not
off
from the
levee.
center hole you did not.
In total.
Yeah,
I
but
can
we're
go
talking
back
about the
and look
center,
at the
I'm,
numbers.
I'm asking you about the center hole in
Yes, sir.
itself, okay?
In the center
How did,
hole-
how did it, you keep saying it helped the Tennessee side, how did it help the Tennessee side?
It reduced the pressure because we had inflow.
What, did it lower the river?
It lowered the river. The
Only way you
combination-
can, only way you can reduce the pressure from one side to the other is lower the water side, right? Ain't that right? I'm not a hydrologist, am I wrong?
If you let me finish, I'll explain.
Okay.
When we, first off, I'd like to make a comment. I know that everybody wants to talk about the operation of the floodway, but I really think we need to talk about how to get to 62 and a half. Because that's really the target that we need to be focused on. But to answer your question, when we executed the center crevasse, that dropped, that in combination with the inflow crevasse, helped take off an enormous amount of flow off of the river. That flow also simultaneously reduced the pressures on the rest of the system. And when I talk system, I talk about the Cairo levee, I talk about Fulton County, and I talk about Tennessee. That combination effect, taking the flow off of the river, helped reduce the pressure on the other side.
I don't understand when, because all you ever put through that hole, when you blow the center crevasse, it was blowed wrong to start with. It started with like 100-foot hole. The most it ever come through that hole was 85,000 cubic feet per second. Okay, 85,000 cubic feet per second. How many inches you think that took off the river? Do you have any idea?
No, do you?
I have a little idea. I'm not an engineer. The river carries at that point 1,800,000 gallons per second. So that's going to probably take off 2 inches of that river. I mean, how 2 inches is going to help a sand boil all the way across the river when there's a number 8 island between it and it to start with?
Sir, I would offer to bring Dave Beretta, my chief hydrologist, up.
I'd love to talk to him, but I'd
And
love
he
for
will
him to
meet you
explain
in
it
this
to me.
office, and he can explain to you exactly the effects of the floodway on the other side of the river, as well as my senior geotech engineer.
When you had 4.5 feet of carry on, still left on the levee, and 2 inches against 4.5 feet, doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm not following your math. I
Okay.
know that we dropped almost 3.5 feet on the Paducah and the Cairo gauge by the execution of the floodway. So,
No.
yes,
No,
sir.
no,
That's
no,
that's
wait,
the
wait, wait.
National Weather Service.
According to your gauge.
That's the National Weather Service data, not ours. So it did have the effect that we looked for when we executed the project. But again, we're going to 51 by 30 November, sir, and 62 and a half is subject to funding, the completion of the EA. Once we have those pieces in there, we can move out and start working on 62 and a half.
You guys are using an inflated number of 63 feet to claim that you got 3.7 off of that. That's crazy. There was no evidence that it was even ever gonna go to 63 feet. It had quit raining. The Missouri was dropping, the upper Ohio was dropping, the whole Cape was dropping already before you blew it. The whole deck was already stacked in your favor to make the thing look as good as it could possibly look. There was no rain in the forecast for 10 days, and you still only got 1.7.
Sir, we good.
Okay.
Get your
I have one more question.
We got the hell of a man.
When you get the EA, all the results in, and you review it, and it calls for your signature, what does that actually mean, Colonel?
In order,
I mean, the way I read it, it's got like a recommended plan, and if you don't get attacked by some environmental group or something like that, sign off that, as the commanding officer, you sign off that that's your plan. Is that
Right,
the way it?
and that enables us to move to this interim piece, which is to start work on this blue hole that we have in the center crevasse. If I cannot make a decision or we have to do mitigation, then we would have to stop. And therefore, we would not be able to move forward on construction of the center crevasse, which would delay the timeline.
Anybody else have anything that really needs to be said?
I'd like to explain maybe this mitigation a little bit more. What are you looking at from a mitigating standpoint?
Sir, you can read the EA, but bottom line is, there was an old blue hole there. We connected, it's now connected. We have to assess all the environmental impacts to maintain the original alignment on that levee. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that explains it to me. You're just talking about the blue hole area.
That's correct.
Okay, I got it.
Okay,